Hello, I had to re-upload this video because there was some issues with the audio after I uploaded them that I did not see. Also, if you are interested, I am opening up my Discord server to the public, so there will be a link in the description. Yeah, enjoy. Hello, it's me! Welcome back to Overwatch Characters Are Queer because Oh, wait. Never mind. Blizzard said so. When Venture was released, they caused uproar in the gaming community. This is nothing new. Any character released as a minority is typically met with backlash, especially in spaces where bigotry festers, like social media. Many people express outrage at wokeness, typically used to refer to a game's attempt to diversify their cast past white, cisgender, or heterosexual men. In general, people usually refer to any progressive ideology as woke. As stated earlier, Venture was somewhat poorly received by the vocal minority of Overwatch bigots. They're non-binary, which means that they're not a woman nor a man. They use they-them pronouns. If you've seen any post about Venture, the comments are flooded with misgendering, most commonly referring to them as a girl. Misgendering isn't the only issue though. You'll find the same threats and awful sentiment that often follows queer people. And that's kind of what this video is about. It's a little bit of a deeper look, if that makes any sense at all. Keeping all that in mind, today we will be discussing the "it's just pixels" argument, other gender-diverse characters in Overwatch, my thoughts on Venture as of their release, callouts, and streamer reactions. Alright, let's start with something I addressed in my previous video about Venture, and something I continue to see. It's a video game character. Good job! I'm incredibly proud of the fact that you know that they are part of a video game. Do you know what doesn't exist purely in video games? Non-binary people. Just like how black people exist, how lesbian and gay people exist, how Mexican people exist, and so on. The groups that these characters are a part of are very real, and the oppression and struggles they face are too. Anything you say towards a video game character is something we have heard said to us in real life. I have been fetishized, threatened with violence and sexual assault. My own family belittled me because who I truly am did not fit their vision of who they thought I was. These are very real experiences. When you say, "Oh, I don't care, it's a video game character. She wants to be raped. The pixels don't give a shit whether I misgender them. She's definitely a girl because XYZ. You are harming real-world people. What do you think someone who's non-binary would feel reading those things, knowing that the transphobia does not just stick to the fictional world? Knowing that every single person who says these things is transphobic. And don't try to say you aren't, because transphobia towards someone who is not real is still transphobia, and someone who isn't bigoted would not be saying these things in the first place. There is no neutrality on human rights. You are either for them, or you are against them. The second thing I'd like to address is the already present characters we have in Overwatch that are gender diverse. In Ramatra's story, Reflections, there is a character that uses they-them pronouns. Nameless, an Omnic that Ramatra discovered while on his journey to jailbreak his fellow Omnics. Nothing about their gender is noted, so we do not know if they are truly binary or not, but I thought this was a lovely example of Overwatch's inclusion style. Very casual, not much attention drawn to it. Nameless just exists as a character, a decently important character, in the story. Omnics in general are a very good gateway into gender discussion. We assume that most, if not all, do not have genitals nor chromosomes, the two things that people generally use to decide what sex someone must conform to, despite neither of those being entirely accurate. So, what exactly determines the gender of an Omnic? Their voices? What about those like Bastion, who cannot form words, but have been labeled a male? We have no idea as far as I'm aware. As a treat, I like to think all Omnics are truly non-binary, but mostly masculine/feminine in an echo of humanity, and don't mind being gendered certain ways. Here I am, going off on my silly convergent evolution ideas. Think what you will about gender. You can't argue that Omnics are firm on it in any way, which certainly opens up a pathway for gender to work differently than it does in the real world. Alright, now that I've yapped about my thoughts on Omnics, what do I, as a transgender man, think about Venture and how their gender has been handled? I think it's been fucking lovely. Initially, I was actually disappointed by their voice. I have yet to see a somewhat masculine non-binary character and was hoping that their voice would give people a reason to question the initial girl label. However, it's grown on me, and I think that their voice actor did an excellent job. Valeria Rodriguez is a good fit for them, considering they're also of the queer variety. Queer? What the I mean queer? Anyways, I'm proud of Blizzard. Wow, that's not a phrase you hear very often. For doing a non-binary character in a way that isn't just spicy girl. They're rather androgynous. Nothing about them really screams one gender over the other, except the higher pitch of their voice, which people often read as feminine. Nothing about their gender is really mentioned in voice lines. They interact with other characters normally, and it's just as casual as any other characters talking to each other. Nothing to make the little wah-wah babies cry about it being shoved down their throats like they initially whined. Imagine that, the anti-woke crowd throwing an unnecessary fit about a queer character. I really like their gameplay. It's not too fast-paced, but it has its moments, and that's the type of character I like. That's not really the point of this video, though. It is pretty hilarious to me that everyone hates Venture with a burning passion, but Malga and Iati didn't seem to receive this level of hate. It makes you wonder if some of it is veiled transphobia, especially amongst Instagram's Overwatch community. The script was written like a while ago. I know now that everybody really hates Malga. I also really hate Malga, so kind of disregard that point, but I think y'all know what I mean. Another thing I wanted to talk about is callouts. There was huge unrest over them. No one will know who I'm talking about! Again, an excuse to not try. Hardly anyone ever uses pronouns and callouts anyways for the same reason. You don't know who's being referred to. That's why we use names, and the same should be done with Venture. It's literally just common sense, and I'm not sure why this was such a huge problem for the community. But I suppose Overwatch players aren't exactly known for their intelligence, are they?
Huh?
Lastly, streamer reactions. The whole, I'm gonna ban you if you misgender them. Now, I'm unsure to the extent which some streamers have gone. Part of me wants to say something along the lines of, it's extreme to ban all situations of misgendering, but I understand that people who are not transgender will go great lengths in a misguided attempt to show their allyship. I, personally, appreciate the thought, but disagree with the idea. Some misgendering is totally accidental, people who haven't played in a while, who know very little about Venture. Shit, sometimes all misgender characters who are completely binary, it just slips out sometimes, you know? Now see, malicious misgendering? Oh, absolutely. Those little edgy fucks need to be held accountable for their actions to the fullest extent. But accidents happen. People try. And while I don't agree with suppressing trans voices in order to make cisgender people more comfortable, in a space like the Overwatch community, you'll be met with pushback either way. And it's up to the CC if they want to die on that hill. Alright, going off script here. I genuinely hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it gave you kind of some insight if you were of the opinion that, you know, misgendering wasn't a big deal, or maybe you're transphobic, alright? Maybe you don't refer to yourself as transphobic, but maybe you are, alright? I hope that maybe this gave you some insight, and maybe it helped you understand our perspective a little bit better. At the end of the day, we're all human. We only have each other on this shitty earth, and why waste energy being angry and hateful when you can just love people? It's pretty sappy sentiment. Pretty sappy sentiment for a video talking about Overwatch, but you know, it's true, guys. Alright, well, that wraps us up. Get a snack, drink some water, tell your parents you love them, tell your friends you love them. Yeah, bye.